me start.
I think we're live now.
Hey! Here, let's back up just a
Okay.
little bit. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this lovely Tuesday. Here we are in Sarasota, Florida. We're at my Keller Williams office. We have the lovely Tad Cromley here with Insurance Options of Florida. And I am Carolyn Cromley with Keller Williams on the Water, Sarasota, residential real estate agent. And today, on our first episode of Talk About It Tuesday, we're going to talk about some homeowners insurance. You know, so many things go into it, and we're only going to touch the surface, but so many people are confused. You know, what do I really need? Who needs it? What do I have to get for you? Are there inspections? What inspections do I have to get? So we're going to go over some of those things for you, and Tad is going to help us with that. As you can see behind us, if you do have questions later on, our information is here. If not, you can comment. If you can't see it, I know it's a little bit janky, but you can comment and we'll get back with you too. And if you have questions while we're doing this live, you can definitely post, and we'll see if we can answer them while we're going through some of this. So first things first, really, there's a lot of things that go into it. So we're just gonna jump right in. So what's, a few of the things that you really look for first and foremost?
Well, thanks, Carolyn. I'm glad to have this opportunity because I get the calls all the time. I just need an insurance quote. Well, to get an accurate insurance quote for a homeowner's policy, I need some basic information from the agent or lender or the client themselves. Mm-hmm. Basically, we're looking first, I need the type of occupancy. Is this going to be the client's primary residence? Would it be a seasonal home? Mm-hmm. If it's a seasonal home, how many months out of the year are they going to occupy the property? Mm-hmm. That's necessary for underwriting purposes with the various carriers. Right. Next, if it is going to be a seasonal home, we need to find out, one, are they going to be in a gated community? Mm. Are they going to have a centrally monitored fire and burglar alarm? Security is an issue, yes. And that helps with insurance. Okay. And then also, if they are centrally monitored as well as in the home concierge service, where somebody's going to check in on the property at least twice a month. This is required on seasonal homes because, one, they want to make sure there's no issues in the home. Mm-hmm. A lot of that deals with sudden and accidental water damage, mm-hmm. which is a big issue here in Florida mm-hmm. now. So we have to make sure the property is being maintained and there aren't issues. So with a primary residence, what is that time frame? Typically is when they do the declaration of domicile, or they're residing in the home at least 6 months out of the year. Other carriers look at 9 months or more. Mm. So we do need to know exactly how much in the transition phase. Mm-hmm. But you're able to look at multiple Correct. Options. So yep. Great. Okay, awesome. So we have primary seasonal, then we have income producing, right? Rental properties. Correct. If they're in rentals, that's a whole different type of policy. Right. Yes. So it's, again, just complete moving targets here. So the other one is the age of the home. What does that matter? It matters because after 2002 with the hurricanes, they increased the building code. So the roof systems have all been upgraded from 2002 or newer homes, so they get additional discounts on the hurricane portion of their premium. Right. So if you have a home built prior to 2002, you're going to need a wind mitigation inspection form. Mm. That's going to detail the roof system. It's going to talk about the roof type of roof. It's going to talk about the roof to wall connection, the roof deck attachment, whether they have secondary water resistance, hurricane shutters and hurricane protection, which gets you so huge discounts on your homeowner's policy. That's what we're all looking for. Right. It can definitely get pricey. Oh yeah. And when you're close to the coast, the closer you are to the coast, the more discounts you get for the hurricane portion on the wind. Right. Mm-hmm. So you can see significant swings in your premium based on your wind mitigation and on the location from the coast. Correct. That makes sense. So it's 40 years, right? So what type of inspections do we need besides the wind mitigation? If a home is 40 years older, you're going to need a 4-point inspection. Mm-hmm. That's going to 4-point. Yes, correct. Mm-hmm. 4 points is very good. First, it's going to detail the HVAC system, which is your air conditioner, the electrical system, the plumbing system, and then the roof system in more detail than the wind mitigation inspection form. They must have a clean 4-point without any deficiencies to be considered for an insurance policy. If there are deficiencies, they need to cure those prior to closing.
Okay, all right, so prior to closing, they have to be done. So note from a realtor, when you submit your information and inspections to the insurance agent, it's not his fault. You only submit the wind mitigation and the 4-point. No other inspections does he need.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't want to give too much. We just need the main things that they're going to really look for.
Correct. And when you're dealing with a transaction, if the seller has a wind mitigation inspection form and an older 4-point, I can use that to give them a better estimate on the cost of insurance. Instead of waiting, quicker.
Quicker, right. You're still going to have to do the same, you're still going to have to do it yourself. Well, the wind mitigation, depending on how many, you still have to do that?
No, if they have a wind mitigation inspection on the new form, 2012 or newer,
okay.
A lot of carriers will accept it, but I can always try to submit it. And if they'll take it, great. If not, they might have to pay for a wind mitigation inspection, depending on the age.
On topic, but side note, if you're in a condo or a villa, ask your association, your management company for the wind mitigation report. They should have that, and they should be able to supply that for you, because you still need homeowners insurance as a condo or attached property. So besides just the single family homes, it's really important to have to hopefully get you some discounts and get you some price.
Also with the condos, in addition to the wind mitigation inspection, if the condo has a fire suppression system,
very important.
And a fire monitoring agreement, those are additional discounts. And if it's sprinkled in the units themselves in all rooms, those are additional discounts.
Yeah, safety. Safety. So security, safety, all great.
It's always good to know too whether they have 24-hour security, manned security, as well as passkey. Those are additional discounts as well.
Awesome. Oh my God, there's so much. All right, so another thing, the replacement cost, and we've been discussing this for the past few minutes. There's a lot that goes into that, and I really didn't know that it can stop you from getting insurance due to your purchase price compared to the cost that it's going to take to replace the property, meaning rebuild it. So please touch on that.
I will, because basically if you're purchasing a home, that's the market value of a given home. From an insurance standpoint, we need to make sure on a homeowner's policy that is a replacement cost with like quality construction. So it's very important to have the MLS listing with the photos where I can look, okay, has it been upgraded? Have they improved their flooring? Have they upgraded the kitchens? Have they upgraded the bathrooms? Have they done an addition to the home? Have they, if it has a pool?
Which is all well and good, it's all fantastic stuff, but it has to add up.
Yes, and it has to be on the replacement cost calculator. And so it's got to be detailed, because just because you buy it at $200,000, the cost of rebuild could be $250,000.
Right.
So we have to insure within typically 90% of replacement cost on a given policy.
So purchasing really low on property is fantastic, but it could potentially mess with the insurance.
Correct. On the flip side, with the replacement cost, in some areas you could have a premium lot, or you could be on one of the keys or on the coast where you're paying, say, $750,000, but the house is only worth about $250,000. You don't want to insure for the land. That's not necessary, but you've got to look at that factor as well.
So that's a good way.
That's a good thing. You don't want to overinsure.
Right.
You do not want to overinsure.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so one last thing on this subject is the endorsements. Just
okay, I'll touch base.
Yeah.
On most policies, if you have a pool at your home and you have a pool cage, that's excluded from hurricane coverage. So you have to buy the endorsement back. Typically, they're in $5,000 increments, and they start at $10,000 and go up from there.
Okay.
You've got that option. There's a few carriers that include in coverage A, but only a few.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that that is covered in the event of a hurricane. You can choose to self-insure, and that only applies when there's a named storm in the Gulf for the hurricane deductible, where that's excluded. Same thing with also water damage. On any home over 40 years old, most carriers are excluding water damage for sudden and accidental water claims.
Okay.
And
Over 40.
Over 40,
Okay.
most are doing it.
Okay.
And so basically what that means is you can get up to maybe a $10,000 water damage endorsement. So you have to make sure if it's excluded, at least get the 10,000.
At least get that, because
Right.
what if, I don't know, your washer completely goes and it goes all the way out into your kitchen, and then you have to redo, your entire floors because you can't
Correct.
keep one and not the other. So that
Exactly.
makes a ton of sense. And then drywall perhaps too.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money. It can add up really
Yeah.
quick. So make sure that you're covered there.
Another endorsement is animal liability. Most policies
Oh.
exclude animal liability coverage. Some offer an endorsement for animal liability coverage as long as it's not a prohibited breed.
I was gonna say we have to talk about, well,
Yes.
maybe that'll be on another one, but
Okay.
there's breed restrictions and things
Correct.
too. That stinks.
It excludes people completely from even purchasing a policy if they have a prohibited breed
Oh, wow.
with a given carrier.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Louise.
it's a challenge for people that
Jeez.
have those dogs.
It's, I think, I don't even know how long we've been talking
Yeah.
here, but this is literally just the tip of the iceberg.
Another big thing is a lot of people that are doing the transition have a seasonal home.
Mhm.
If they have multiple properties, multiple vehicles, etc., they might have a personal liability umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the carriers split out the liability portion and add personal injury, which covers things like libel,
yeah.
slander, false imprisonment, things of that nature. If you have a personal liability policy,
hope I don't have
the
that.
majority of the time, their umbrella policy will require the endorsement of personal injury. So you have to make sure that's included on most quotes and speak to the client to see their particular situation so they can
Right.
get with their agent out of state
Which is
to make
why
sure
I
they're
have
covered.
you to look over
Correct.
all of my insurance.
Exactly.
I just go, Dad, please.
Yep.
Oh, so again, that's homeowners insurance, right?
And
So
another big thing with the endorsements,
yeah,
that you got me on that
I
roll,
know.
service line endorsement. You probably been
Service
getting
line?
service line endorsement. It's covering the lines from basically the street coming in to service the home, meaning your water
Oh.
line, your sewer line, buried cable lines.
Who thinks about that stuff?
You've probably been getting in the mail from FP&L, and
Mm-hmm.
there, I forget the other carrier right now, might be one of the cable companies, for that endorsement at
Yeah.
X dollars a day.
Yeah.
There are some policies now that they are giving a $10,000 service line endorsement.
Wow.
And I'm recommending that to most of my clients
Yeah.
if that carrier offers it. Some carriers don't.
Mhm. And figuring out which carrier that you will be able to use, within your budget, right? That's really kind of where we're talking about here. But depends on all of these things that we just talked about. So are you going to live there all the time? Are you going to be there just a little bit of the year? Are you going to rent it out? How old is the home? So depending on where it is, where's the location, the replacement cost, which is mind-blowing to me. And then all of these other added little things. There are so many different pieces to the puzzle that can kind of, drawstring it up and down to better fit what you need and see how much coverage you'd like, and if we can get it, if you can get it in the budget, which
Correct.
a lot of times it's
And
It's
all
daunting.
carriers have a different appetite, a type of risk that they are more competitive in.
Mhm.
And that's the advantage of having multiple carriers to shop to see who's going to have the best buy.
Oh yeah,
Best value for the
absolutely.
client.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I know that when we go shopping for anything, I always figure out which one's the best, and so you have to look around.
Correct.
So that's homeowners insurance. So another piece to that, this is our PSA for the day, because I hear it all of the time. My homeowner's insurance will cover the flood. That is incorrect. During Hurricane Irma, if you got flooded from rising water due to flooding and you did not have flood insurance coverage, you didn't get coverage.
Correct.
You didn't get
You're
covered.
self-insuring.
You're self-insuring, and you're going to pay a lot of money. You're
The
going to pay a lot of money.
The easiest way, and on all homeowners, flood is excluded on
Mhm.
all homeowners policies.
Yeah,
The
just
only thing covering flood and rising water of any type is a flood policy.
mhm. So let's say a pipe bursts in the house
That's covered under sudden and accidental water damage. That's
in
the-
your homeowner's insurance.
Correct.
Let's say that the neighbor's house springs a leak somehow and makes it over to your house and it floods. Is that rising water?
That would end up
on theirs.
That would be
Okay, I take that back. So let's
different
just bring
type
it
of
back
issue,
to
yes.
a big
Yeah.
rainstorm or something, and your drain gets stopped up, and the rain can't go and drain out, and then your street gets flooded. You're not in a flood zone either sometimes, you know. So then you have rising water. That's not covered.
correct.
Your street doesn't have insurance.
We get the torrential downpour rains, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you get the flash floods.
Right.
That's the only thing that covers
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And you know, in flood zones, when you're in a flood zone, you're required to have it if you have a loan. But if you don't, you purchase with cash, you don't. So, I mean, obviously we recommend
Yeah, and as
home
a primary
insurance.
residence, it's very affordable.
Right.
When it's your primary, you
That
get the
was what I was
subsidy.
going to say. Exactly. You know,
So-
spread out over an entire year what you're paying monthly to keep yourself safe just in case. It's really, really, really important, especially here in Florida, because you never know what could happen.
Correct.
You never know what could happen. So anyway, that is our episode of Talk About It Tuesday. Thank you again,
Great. Thanks a lot, Carolyn.
Ted.
Enjoyed it.
You know, really, this is a little bit of information. Well, it's kind of a lot of
Yeah,
information,
a
I
little
guess.
bit, a lot.
But
It's
there's-
always best to
there's
call the
more-
insurance agent regarding the insurance.
Exactly.
to review it.
Find an insurance agent that you trust, you know, that's going to give you the answers, that can shop for you and get you the best policies that you can. Make sure that they're knowledgeable of all of the ins and outs, all of the endorsements, which are really important.
Correct.
I know every time I send something, send a new property to him for one of my clients to look over, he's asking me all these questions. Does it have this? Does it have that? Do you have this? Do you have that? So you really need to know. You need to be educated on it. So definitely reach out to your insurance agent. If you don't have one, Tad's awesome. Again, I'm Carolyn Spronley. This is Tad Cromley, and I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday, and we'll see you next week on Talk About It Tuesday.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.